and then people's graduations are not what they expected. And for us, our story's been different because since freshman year we've been homeschooling this young man, and Corona hit, and then it was fun to throw a party and do this thing in the public of everyone, and it's just a sweet and special occasion, and I'm so glad that you guys have come to celebrate our 18-year-old bundle of fun and energy with us. They were just kidding and saying like, wow, I remember when you didn't talk. I'm like, no, we can't keep him quiet. And what we're gonna ask him to do, and what I was asking him to do, is I would like him to just welcome you also, and he has written a graduation speech. So that's what we're going to share next. Okay.
Well, I would like to thank you all for just coming here. It means a lot. But this graduation speech, I'm gonna give it my all, but we'll see.
Went to Lauren.
So basically, just throughout my life, looking back on it, there's always just been one aspect that stands out most to me. That aspect has always just been change. Because throughout my life, I've always just viewed it as a thing you can't escape and a thing you really don't want. Because it's a thing that I couldn't handle. Growing up, I would always see it as, hey, you got to take meds, that's bad. Hey, you might lose a friend, they're going away, they're moving. I could not handle that. And that was one of the hardest parts of my life. And no matter how much I tried to escape it, it wouldn't let me escape. And it was only till I luckily got to meet some amazing people in my church and just really had them bring me through some mentoring that I realized change is some of the greatest things you can ever have in your life. Change brings you to a whole new reality. Like, I remember one of the changes that I had to deal with, it was supposed to be my biggest thing I've ever done. Going into Premier Soccer, I loved it. Soccer was a passion. I always wanted it. Yet, the moment I had to go to try out, I was so stressed I couldn't sleep that night. Terrified that, oh, I might have to deal with the change and lose valuable time, even though the time that I was losing was just less time sitting in front of a TV on my rear. I had to change that word. But once I started to realize through good God-honoring mindsets that life is truly what you make of it, everything changed for me. I now just look back on my life, and some times that I would have viewed as horrible, such as having to go through a concussion and having to leave my school, it ended up great because it changed into a ladder effect. If I never had a concussion, I would have never been homeschooled. If I never was homeschooled, I would have never been able to join a soccer team and make a lot of friends that way. I would have never been able to make my first computer, which actually became an obsession and a passion. And I've made extra computers, and I've learned to always want to learn more about technology. And it's leading me down a road of this is what I'm going to do in my future. It's always just been an amazing thing. But saying that, change isn't always going to be great, but it is truly going to be the best thing that you can deal with. Because even in the hardest changes, with a good mindset, it can turn into just another fun story down the road. And that is truly what matters most to me, having good stories to tell people to brighten their days. And these tassels annoy. As I graduate, I would just truly like to thank all my coaches, all my teachers, and a lot of just all the people at the church who have guided me through my mindset, my family, my friendships. But most importantly, I would like to thank my family. I would like to thank my family because they've guided me through the hardest times I've dealt with, and they've never looked at me in a bad way. They've always known that I will be something in the future and that I am loved by God. So as I now go through life and go towards the future, I no longer look at it in a negative outlook. I look at it in a positive way, and I'm just excited to graduate and see this next chapter of my life. So thank you guys. You guys have all mattered. I want to take this thing off.
Dad's making this big master's for watch us. In the School of Wine.
I'm so glad we just heard from the valedictorian. I just look around this, and I'm just so thankful for each one of you for being here. You know, just each one of you have had an impact on Jeremy's life, and each one of you just remind me of a particular season in his life and the influence that you're able to have, and it just really warms my heart. And it's just, you know, you can hear from his words that this whole extended family is really special, and I just want to thank each one of you. You know, this certainly got me reminiscing about so many things about Jeremy. You know, I just think back, you know, January 2002, he was born in Rockville Hospital. I had the privilege of being able to cut the umbilical cord, and suddenly I was the father of a boy, and it's a huge responsibility, and it's been a huge blessing too. You know, the first night home from the hospital, I remember he was screaming like crazy, screaming, to the extent that we actually called the hospital to talk to the nurses and said, "How did you actually get him to sleep?" And they just kind of laughed and, yeah, we didn't. Good luck. Yes.
It was to a point that Lauren was sitting over my crib with a balloon, hitting my head, going, "Put him in, he's not ready yet."
But yeah, I remember the young years of his just straight up wispy blonde hair that would just flutter in the wind, and the infectious smile every time I walked in, and he just bounced around everywhere, and just the love we had for him. He was a fort maker when he was young. He would push couches and pillows and stack everything high, and just he was all about comfort, and still is to this day. But it was just absolutely joyful. He was fantastic with Legos. He could build anything. He just saw, you know, the big pieces coming together. He could take the broken pieces and make things special, and that's a skill that he has to this day. He faced challenges, as he had mentioned, seizures, dyslexia, concussion. Really made him question, why me? Why am I different? Why does it take me longer to understand things? Why can't I be normal? And you know, but he's learned over these years with the guidance of many of you, and that he's unique. He's made in God's image. The challenges he's gone through have given him many special new gifts. He's sensitive to struggles. He knows how the heart can be impacted by challenges. What he's learned, he's capable of expressing himself in ways that just amaze me. He's sensitive to feelings. He can express himself in ways that I've still am growing in. And his thoughts are kind of beyond my comprehension, and it's just God in his life. You know, he can see situations and connect with people with a high level of maturity. He understands the importance of relationships and values friends and family. He has grown a compassion for sports and computers. I've been able to learn soccer and technology through him. The last 2 years, we've had the ability to go to London together to see soccer games, and I can see that continuing far into the future because it's been, you know, just one of the joys of my life. And he can clearly see the differences between right and wrong and call them out. And he has grown in his strength in the Lord. 1 Corinthians 13:11 says, "When I was a child, I spoke like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I gave up my childish ways." Jeremy, I've watched you grow in confidence about who you are and how you grow, about what fills you up and keeps you strong, about what is important and what is wasteful, and how to encourage and be encouraged. And you have a firm foundation and strength. And just remember my favorite verse, Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. So today, I'm just so proud of you becoming a man. I have the pleasure of awarding you a diploma today. You've completed the coursework for your graduation. Opportunities are now set before you. Be cautious of your ways and do not grow weary. Rely on the counsel of others in the Lord, and you shall grow in strength. I love you, and I'm proud of you.
So I got the privilege, did not expect it, going into 9th grade, of teaching this precious one through these past years. And we've had joys and challenges and highs and lows, but I would not trade one of those days for the world. And so I have the power vested in me by the state of Connecticut as a homeschool teacher to award Jeremy Lucas Gerhard his high school diploma. You have successfully met all requirements for homeschool graduation, having satisfactorily completed the required course of study approved by the Board of Education for the state of Connecticut, and you are therefore awarded this high school diploma. Thank you all for coming. Come visit with us. There are snacks and drinks over there. We're just so glad that you joined us today. Thank you for the role that you have played in our lives and in this one's life all through the years.
I missed it.